Now, there's been some discord online regarding Battlefield 6 and its campaign, specifically Pax Armada and who was truly behind it. Now, spoilers ahead for the campaign of Black Ops 6 if you haven't finished it already. There is a revelation that Mills, the CIA handler that was helping Dagger 1-3, is actually one of the people influencing or behind Pax Armada, which was this big CIA project that was happening and was funded by very important and prominent leaders behind the scenes. Now, Mills is used kind of as the scapegoat. She was running Pax Armada. She had agents that were kind of dictating what was going on. But I feel that she was a scapegoat. Like, we don't really know the true evils, the true people behind Pax Armada. But there were some theories that some of you guys posed in the comments below that I found really fucking interesting, and they actually make a lot of sense. Now, the first one that we're going to read is from xjames7047. Now, he commented saying, I'm still of the belief that Henry Blackburn is still funding Pax Armada behind the scenes, ever since he saved New York back in Battlefield 3, and then the US government treated him like shit, so I don't blame him. Now, what is he talking about? Well, if we go into the lore of 2042, which is apparently still canon to what happened in Battlefield 6, it gives you a quick bio of Henry Blackburn. Now, we talked about this during our explanation of Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, but we're going to read it again together. It says, Henry was born in Buffalo, New York. He came from a long line of serving military who'd fought in multiple wars. It only seemed right that Henry continued the Blackburn legacy. Staff Sergeant in the U.S. Marines, Henry fought in the war effort against the PLR in 2014 and went on to foil the plot to detonate a nuclear device on American soil. Despite his heroic actions, Blackburn was court-martialed for the killing of a superior officer and dishonorably discharged from the Army. This disgraced soldier responded the only way his training would allow. He adapted. As the world's militaries grew ever more dependent on private military companies, Blackburn seized an opportunity to start his own venture. Weary of undue attention, Blackburn operated from the shadows to recruit and build a formidable fighting force for hire. By the 2020s, he secretly headed one of the most powerful PMCs in the world. That line in particular is the most interesting because Henry Blackburn is said to have seized an opportunity to get a PMC, and by the 2020s, he had one of the most powerful PMCs in the world. When does Battlefield 6 take place? 2027 and 2028. That falls right in line with Pax Armada. Now, in this bio here, they never state what PMC it is. Now, his final part says, in recent years, which by this point is 2042, Blackburn's power and influence has allowed him to spearhead a seemingly more benevolent enterprise. His idea was Archangel Corporation, an entity committed to the betterment of humanity through the development of AI and robotics. It was a world-changing mission, and Blackburn would do whatever it took to bring it to fruition. So people had assumed that the PMC that he was spearheading that was very powerful in the 2020s was the Archangel Corporation. But the way this is worded and the way that we're going to take this is that Archangel was something that he more recently got. That 2020s PMC that he was working with, the thing that got him really powerful, is not Archangel. Archangel was something that came afterwards, after he had gotten that power, after he started maybe becoming more into the front of the camera and kind of showing who he was. So I think Archangel Corporations was something newer that he had been working on, and it wasn't what he was doing in the 2020s. So that falls perfectly in line with another theory, one that I actually really like, from Drunk Vax. He commented saying, I'm convinced that Blackburn is secretly behind all of this. In the 2042 Codex, it states after Blackburn was court-martialed and dishonorably discharged, he secretly headed one of the most powerful PMCs in the 2020s, which lines up perfectly with Pax Armada. Some people think that the PMC was Archangel, even though the Codex implies that he founded Archangel after he grew more influence and power. So perfect. I mean, yeah, basically what Drunk Vax said, I'm right fucking there. Now, we know at the end of the campaign that the CIA propped up Pax Armada as an enemy for NATO to fight to keep it from breaking apart. But after Mills lost control over Pax, she decided to clean house and kill those she didn't have influence over. He says, I wonder if Blackburn was initially one of Mills' assets leading Pax Armada, but he decided to betray her as retribution for how the CIA screwed him over. And so that's basically the gist of it. And I really like the way that he worded it. I really like the way that Drunk Vax, talked about it. This is his theory, and it makes so much sense to me. It makes so much sense to me, and I have seen the comment. These two aren't the only comments. There's been multiple comments speaking about Henry Blackburn, how he could be behind it, how he is behind it. And I think if you want to stay in that timeline, in that storyline, then this is a perfect way to do it. If we get something like a DLC. We discussed having a potential DLC for the Battlefield 6 campaign. If we get a DLC, wouldn't it be good to follow that path? And it leads us to who are the people that are still behind Pax Armada? How can we stop them? How can we officially take them out? And one of those people ends up being, or the head guy behind everything, ends up being Henry Blackburn. And that would be such a trip. That would be such a cool callback. And it would kind of bring everything full circle. And that's something that hopefully can get explored in a potential DLC. Now, if it doesn't come in a DLC, maybe it'll come via the Battle Royale cinematics that they're going to be doing for the lore. That's what the real theory and the one that seems most likely to be. But either way, I hope that it does all lead to Henry Blackburn, because it'll be like a full circle moment. Now, what do you guys think about that theory? Is there more that you can add to it? Or do you think someone else is behind Pax Armada and it's not necessarily Henry Blackburn, which would be really on the nose, but still make a lot of sense?